Hey everyone, ready to dive deep into the world of Terminator 2 Judgment Day? Released on July 3, 1991, this film has sparked endless discussions, and today, we're uncovering every thrilling detail. If you enjoy this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us grow. And for more incredible movie explorations and hidden gems, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's unravel the magic behind this cinematic masterpiece. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is more than just an action-packed sequel. It's a powerful story about fate, humanity, and the fight for survival. The film opens with Sarah Connor, who spent years locked away in a mental hospital, trying to prepare the world for the catastrophic future she knows is coming. Her son John, now a teenager, is living a typical life unaware of the danger shadowing him. But the peace shatters when two Terminators arrive from the future, one programmed to kill John and the other to protect him. The Protector, an updated T-800 model played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, brings a new sense of hope, not just for John but for all of humanity. What sets this movie apart is how it balances thrilling action with emotional depth. John's transformation from a rebellious kid to a determined leader is central to the story. He learns about the burden he carries and the sacrifices that come with it. Meanwhile, Sarah's character is fierce and driven, fueled by her knowledge of the future and a desire to change it. Their dynamic with the Terminator itself is fascinating. The machine begins to understand human emotions and morality, adding layers to what could have been a straightforward chase story. The action sequences remain iconic decades later, especially the chase scenes on the freeway and the intense showdown in the steel mill. But beneath the explosions and stunts, the movie explores the dangers of technology and the potential consequences of artificial intelligence. Skynet, the AI system that triggers Judgment Day, represents a cold, calculated threat that contrasts with the human character's struggle to retain their humanity and free will. James Cameron's direction shines in how he mixes practical effects with groundbreaking CGI, which was revolutionary at the time. The liquid metal T-1000 Terminator adds a new level of menace, constantly shifting and adapting in ways that keep the tension high. Every scene is crafted to build suspense while also pushing the story forward, never losing sight of the emotional core. The film's themes resonate deeply, questioning if the future is set or if people can change their destiny. It reminds viewers of the importance of choice and the power of hope, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The ending, both bittersweet and hopeful, leaves a lasting impression, underscoring the sacrifices made to protect a better tomorrow. Terminator 2 Judgment Day isn't just a sci-fi action film. It's a story about what it means to be human in a world dominated by machines. It challenges us to consider how technology shapes our lives and the responsibility that comes with it. From unforgettable characters to groundbreaking effects and a gripping storyline, it's no surprise this movie remains a classic. Terminator 2 Judgment Day hit theaters on July 3, 1991, and instantly redefined what a blockbuster could be. From the moment it arrived, it stood out, not just as a sequel, but as a cinematic event that pushed boundaries in storytelling, special effects, and emotional depth. The film captured the imagination of audiences worldwide and became one of those rare movies that transcended its genre, leaving a lasting impact on popular culture. What makes Terminator 2 truly extraordinary isn't just its thrilling action or its groundbreaking visuals. It's the way it tells a story about the human spirit, fate, and the consequences of technology with a raw intensity that still resonates today. At its core, the movie revolves around the battle to protect John Connor, a teenager destined to lead humanity's resistance against a deadly artificial intelligence known as Skynet. The story catapults viewers into a near-future world where machines have gained the upper hand, and survival means fighting against a relentless, nearly indestructible enemy. Into this chaos come two Terminators from the future with opposite missions. One, a new shape-shifting T-1000, is sent to terminate John before he can become a threat, while the other, a reprogrammed T-800, arrives to shield him. This premise alone sets the stage for a high-stakes chase filled with suspense, but it's the characters and their interactions that elevate the film beyond a simple action story. The performances anchor the film's emotional weight, with Linda Hamilton returning as Sarah Connor, transformed from a terrified waitress in the first film to a battle-hardened warrior ready to face any danger for her son. Her fierce determination and vulnerability give the movie a powerful heart, showing how fear and love drive human resilience. Edward Furlong's portrayal of John Connor brings a mix of teenage rebellion and growing responsibility, perfectly capturing a young man grappling with his destiny. And then there's Arnold Schwarzenegger, whose return as the T-800 is iconic, this time not as a villain, but as a protector, creating a dynamic that's both thrilling and surprisingly touching as this machine learns about humanity. The plot weaves together intense action sequences with moments of quiet reflection, creating a rhythm that keeps viewers hooked from start to finish. The film's visual effects were revolutionary for the time, especially the liquid metal T-1000, which could morph, stretch, and reform in terrifying ways. This blend of practical effects and CGI set a new standard for the industry, influencing countless films that followed. Every explosion, chase, and fight scene is meticulously crafted, not just to dazzle the eye but to serve the story's emotional beats and themes. What truly sets Terminator 2 apart is how it explores big questions beneath the surface. It's a meditation on free will versus destiny, the ethics of technology, and the power of choice. The looming threat of Judgment Day, the day when machines will rise and nearly wipe out humanity, adds urgency and weight to every decision the characters make. The movie doesn't shy away from showing the costs of that future, making it a cautionary tale that still feels relevant in today's world where technology grows more powerful every day. This film became a cultural phenomenon because it spoke to universal fears and hopes. It combined the thrill of sci-fi action with relatable human emotions, creating a story that appealed to a broad audience. Its influence extends beyond the screen, inspiring video games, comics, and even conversations about AI and ethics in real life. People return to it not just for the adrenaline but to think about what it means to fight for a future worth living. Diving deeper into Terminator 2 reveals layers of storytelling craft, how the screenplay balances pacing and character development, how the direction brings tension and heart to every frame, and how the groundbreaking effects were achieved with a perfect blend of innovation and artistry. The movie also marks a milestone in Arnold Schwarzenegger's career, redefining his image from action star to something more nuanced and iconic. Ultimately, Terminator 2 Judgment Day isn't just a film to watch. It's an experience to live through, offering thrills, emotion, and ideas that linger long after the credits roll. Whether it's your first time exploring its world or you're revisiting to uncover new details, this movie remains a masterclass in storytelling and filmmaking that continues to inspire generations. It invites viewers not just to witness a battle for survival but to reflect on the choices that shape our lives and the future we want to build. Terminator 2 Judgment Day opens with a glimpse into the bleak future that hangs over humanity, a war between humans and machines, sparked by the rise of an artificial intelligence called Skynet. It's a future filled with destruction, fear, and desperate resistance. From this harsh landscape, the story sends two powerful machines back in time to the early 1990s, setting the stage for an intense battle that will determine the fate of the world. The movie quickly shifts to the present, introducing us to Sarah Connor, a woman changed forever by her knowledge of the future apocalypse. Unlike the frightened waitress we met in the first film, Sarah has transformed into a fierce warrior, preparing relentlessly to protect her son John. She's been locked away in a mental hospital, branded unstable for her warnings about the coming Judgment Day, but she remains unbroken and determined. Her time inside hasn't softened her resolve. If anything, it's sharpened it. The opening scenes reveal her toughness and resourcefulness as she manages a daring escape, immediately setting a tone of urgency and survival. John Connor, on the other hand, lives a very different life at the start of the film. He's a typical teenager, rebellious and wary of authority, spending his days skateboarding and getting into trouble. He's unaware of the monumental role he is destined to play in the future, but his instincts and courage hint at the leader he is meant to become. Edward Furlong's portrayal captures this mix of youthful defiance and latent potential, making John a relatable character even amid the high-concept sci-fi stakes. Soon after, the tension escalates as two Terminators arrive from the future with opposing missions that will shape everything. The first is the T-1000, a new and terrifying machine made of liquid metal capable of changing its shape at will. It's relentless, nearly unstoppable, and coldly efficient, hunting John with a single-minded purpose. The T-1000's arrival kicks off a series of thrilling chase scenes and violent confrontations, immediately raising the stakes and signaling that this isn't just another action movie. This is a fight for survival on a whole new level. Opposing the T-1000 is the reprogrammed T-800, the same model that once sought to kill Sarah in the original Terminator film but now tasked with protecting John. Arnold Schwarzenegger returns in this role, but this time with a different edge. This Terminator is an ally, a guardian. His stoic presence contrasts with the fluid menace of the T-1000, and as the story unfolds, this machine starts to learn about humanity, loyalty, and sacrifice, adding layers of complexity to the narrative. The first half of the movie balances moments of high tension with quieter character development. John's initial mistrust of the T-800 slowly gives way to acceptance, even friendship, as he teaches the machine about human behavior and emotions. These scenes are crucial because they humanize a cold machine and deepen the audience's emotional investment in the story. Meanwhile, Sarah's fierce determination drives the mission to stop Judgment Day before it can happen, showing how trauma and hope coexist in her relentless pursuit. One of the most pivotal early moments comes when the T-800, John, and Sarah reunite after years apart. Their reunion is tense but hopeful, a mix of suspicion and the recognition of a common enemy. It's a turning point that sets the tone for the rest of the movie, emphasizing themes of trust, survival, and the fight to change fate. This trio's interactions feel genuine and grounded, despite the sci-fi setting, which helps anchor the film's larger-than-life stakes in relatable human emotions. As the chase intensifies, the film wastes no time diving into heart-pounding action sequences. The freeway chase, where the T-800 battles the T-1000 amidst speeding cars and collapsing trucks, is a masterclass in suspense and practical effects. Every moment is packed with danger and adrenaline, pushing the characters and the audience to the edge. These scenes not only thrill but also serve to highlight the relentless nature of the T-1000 and the protective determination of the T-800. Throughout the first half, foreshadowing plays a crucial role. Subtle hints about the future, the consequences of Skynet's rise, and the choices that will lead to Judgment Day are woven into the dialogue and visuals. The film doesn't just show a battle between humans and machines. It invites viewers to think about cause and effect, the ripple effects of each decision, and the possibility that the future is not set in stone. Sarah's flashbacks and nightmares reveal her inner turmoil and deepen the stakes, showing how much she's willing to sacrifice to protect her son and humanity. These moments add emotional weight and urgency, reminding us that the battle is as much psychological as it is physical. The film also introduces new characters like Miles Dyson, a scientist whose work unknowingly leads to the creation of Skynet, adding a layer of moral complexity. Dyson's role becomes a key piece in the puzzle, highlighting how technology, innovation, and human choices intertwine with destiny. By the time the first half reaches its midpoint, the story has built a solid foundation of conflict, character, and suspense. The audience is fully invested in John's survival, the growing bond between him and the T-800, and Sarah's relentless drive to stop a catastrophic future. The stage is set for the escalating conflict and emotional payoff that will follow, with every twist and turn hinting at the high stakes and sacrifices ahead. This opening portion of Terminator 2 Judgment Day masterfully combines thrilling action with deep emotional resonance. It draws viewers into a world where the line between human and machine blurs, where the future is uncertain, and where every choice matters. As the characters confront impossible odds, the film challenges us to consider what it means to fight for the future, and whether we have the power to change it. The second half of Terminator 2 Judgment Day picks up with an intensity that never lets up, plunging the characters deeper into their desperate fight to change the future. After the adrenaline-fueled freeway chase and the uneasy alliance between John, Sarah, and the T-800, the story shifts toward a powerful combination of action, emotion, and thought-provoking choices that raise the stakes even higher. As the trio escapes the chaos of the chase, they find themselves on the run, constantly hunted by the shape-shifting T-1000, whose relentless pursuit drives the tension to new heights. The T-1000's ability to mimic other people and transform its liquid metal body into weapons makes it an almost unstoppable force, a constant shadow that threatens to strike at any moment. This looming threat forces John, Sarah, and the Terminator into a series of intense encounters that test their resolve and ingenuity. One of the key turning points comes when the group decides they must confront the source of the future apocalypse directly. This leads them to Miles Dyson, a brilliant scientist working on advanced microprocessor technology at Cyberdyne Systems. Dyson is unknowingly developing the very technology that will eventually evolve into Skynet, the AI that triggers Judgment Day. This discovery adds a new layer of urgency and moral complexity. If they destroy Dyson's work, they can potentially prevent the rise of the machines, but it also means destroying the future Dyson himself and everything he stands for. Meeting Dyson introduces a fresh dynamic into the story. Initially, he's unaware of the consequences of his research, focused on the promise of scientific progress and innovation. However, when Sarah explains the horrifying future his work will create, he's faced with an impossible choice. His transformation from skeptic to ally adds emotional depth, showing how individuals can change course when confronted with the truth. The scene where Dyson sacrifices himself to destroy his lab underlines the theme of responsibility and the high price of hope. As the plot builds toward its climax, the tension escalates through a series of action-packed and emotionally charged sequences. The T-1000's pursuit grows more desperate and violent, culminating in a nail-biting showdown at a steel mill, a symbolic battleground where human strength and machine power collide. The environment is harsh and unforgiving, filled with molten metal and danger at every turn, amplifying the stakes and the urgency of their mission. During this final confrontation, every character faces their defining moment. Sarah fights with relentless courage, determined to protect her son and the future. John steps into his role as a leader, making quick decisions and showing bravery beyond his years. The T-800, despite being a machine, displays a profound evolution, willing to sacrifice itself to ensure humanity's survival. This sacrifice is one of the film's most emotionally powerful moments, highlighting themes of love, sacrifice, and the blurred lines between human and machine. The battle with the T-1000 is tense and unpredictable, filled with moments that keep viewers on the edge of their seats. The liquid metal Terminator's ability to heal and morph makes it a formidable foe, but the combined efforts of John, Sarah, and the T-800 gradually wear it down. The final moments where the T-1000 is destroyed in molten steel feel both triumphant and cathartic, marking the end of a relentless threat and a turning point in the fight against the dark future. After the dust settles, the film turns to its emotional resolution. The destruction of Dyson's research and the sacrifice of the T-800 leave the characters and the audience reflecting on the cost of their victory. The message is clear. The future isn't fixed. It can be changed, but it requires difficult choices, courage, and sometimes loss. Sarah's voiceover reinforces this hope, reminding viewers that the fight for a better tomorrow is ongoing. The second half ties together every narrative thread with precision, weaving action, character arcs, and thematic questions into a cohesive conclusion. The transformation of the T-800 from cold machine to protector mirrors the film's exploration of humanity and technology, while John's growth foreshadows the leader he will become. Sarah's journey from fear to fierce protector underscores the power of love and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. Visually, the climax is stunning, using the harsh industrial setting to amplify the story's tension and emotional weight. The practical effects and CGI blend seamlessly, creating a world that feels both real and fantastical. The pacing never drags, maintaining suspense while giving characters space to breathe and connect with the audience on a deeper level. By the time the credits roll, Terminator 2 Judgment Day leaves a lasting impression. A story that's thrilling, thought-provoking, and emotionally resonant. It's a movie that challenges viewers to consider the consequences of technology, the power of choice, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The seamless connection between every plot element, character decision, and thematic idea makes the second half a masterclass in storytelling, ensuring the film's place as a timeless classic. In Terminator 2: Judgment Day, the characters are the heart of a story that blends futuristic thrills with deeply human emotions. At the center stands Sarah Connor, a figure transformed by her knowledge of a devastating future. From the frightened woman of the first film, she has become a warrior hardened by experience, driven by the fierce instinct to protect her son and change the fate she knows is coming. Linda Hamilton's performance brings a raw intensity and vulnerability to Sarah that makes her one of the most compelling female characters in action cinema. Her voice carries the weight of years spent preparing for a nightmare, and her physicality, muscles toned, movements precise, reflects a woman who has sacrificed her past life to fight for the future. Sarah embodies determination fueled by love and trauma. She's not just fighting machines, she's fighting time itself. John Connor, the teenage son Sarah is desperate to save, undergoes a transformation just as profound, though different in nature. Edward Furlong captures the essence of a boy caught between childhood rebellion and the heavy responsibility that awaits him. At the film's start, John is a typical teenager. Sarcastic, defiant, unsure of his place in the world. Yet beneath that bravado lies a spark of leadership and courage that gradually surfaces as he faces danger head-on. John's evolving relationship with the T-800, the machine sent to protect him, adds emotional depth. As he teaches the Terminator about human behavior, humor, and trust, John steps into his future role as the Resistance leader, showing maturity and hope. This mentorship dynamic humanizes the machine and reveals John's growing sense of purpose. Arnold Schwarzenegger's return as the T-800 Terminator is iconic, but this time the character feels more nuanced. No longer a relentless hunter, the T-800 becomes a protector and even a teacher. Schwarzenegger's stoic delivery and physical presence lend an imposing yet strangely endearing quality to the machine. The character's gradual learning about empathy and self-sacrifice is central to the film's emotional core. The Terminator's unwavering commitment to John and Sarah blurs the line between human and machine, challenging viewers to rethink what it means to be alive. This evolution from cold killer to guardian mirrors the film's broader themes of transformation and hope. Supporting characters also play vital roles in enriching the story's complexity. Miles Dyson, the Cyberdyne system scientist, is a pivotal figure whose work unknowingly triggers the future apocalypse. Played with subtlety and conviction, Dyson embodies the moral ambiguity of scientific progress. His genius holds the promise of innovation but also the seeds of destruction. His character arc, from a dedicated researcher to a man willing to sacrifice everything to stop the disaster he's helped create, adds a layer of tragedy and responsibility to the narrative. Dyson's transformation underscores the film's warning about unchecked technological advancement and the human choices behind it. The T-1000, portrayed by Robert Patrick, introduces a chilling new type of antagonist. Unlike the bulky, mechanical T-800, the T-1000 is sleek, fluid, and seemingly unstoppable. Patrick's cold, precise performance captures the machine's inhuman nature perfectly, making the character terrifying without needing words. The T-1000's shape-shifting abilities and relentless pursuit of John create a constant sense of dread, symbolizing the relentless advance of technology without conscience. This antagonist is not just a physical threat but a representation of an unstoppable force that humans must outsmart and overcome. Sarah's relationship with her son and the Terminator forms the emotional backbone of the film. Her fierce love fuels her every action, but also reveals the toll of living with the knowledge of a devastating future. Her protective instincts are balanced by moments of vulnerability, especially when she confronts the possibility of losing John or failing to prevent Judgment Day. Linda Hamilton's portrayal brings a powerful mix of strength and fragility, making Sarah both a heroic figure and a deeply human one. John's growing trust and friendship with the T-800 are equally touching. Their interactions provide moments of humor and warmth, as John teaches the machine how to smile, how to lie, and even how to understand human emotions. This dynamic enriches the story, showing that connection and learning are possible even across the divide between flesh and metal. Arnold Schwarzenegger's subtle shifts in expression and tone throughout these scenes bring a surprising warmth to the Terminator, turning it into a character audiences care deeply about. The film also hints at broader themes through its characters: the tension between technology and humanity, the consequences of knowledge, and the power of sacrifice. Each character embodies different facets of these ideas. Sarah as the guardian of human survival, John as the hopeful future, the T-800 as the bridge between man and machine, Dyson as the conflicted creator, and the T-1000 as the embodiment of unfeeling technological menace. Together, these characters create a rich tapestry that elevates Terminator 2 beyond a simple action film. Their motivations, transformations, and relationships intertwine seamlessly, making the story both thrilling and emotionally resonant. The performances breathe life into these roles, ensuring they linger in the mind long after the film ends. This deep character work is a major reason why Terminator 2 Judgment Day remains a timeless classic and a benchmark for storytelling in science fiction and action cinema. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is packed with layers of detail that enrich the viewing experience, rewarding those who pay close attention with subtle references, clever foreshadowing, and cultural nods woven seamlessly into its narrative fabric. From the very start, the film hints at its larger themes and future developments through small but meaningful touches. For instance, the opening scenes in the post-apocalyptic future are not just dramatic backdrops. They subtly introduce the idea of resistance and sacrifice, echoed later by characters who face impossible choices for the sake of humanity's survival. One of the most fascinating aspects lies in how the movie uses everyday objects and moments to symbolize deeper ideas. Consider the recurring motif of mirrors and reflections. These are not accidental. When the T-1000 shifts forms or appears in new disguises, mirrors and reflective surfaces play a critical role, emphasizing themes of identity, deception, and transformation. This subtle visual cue nudges the audience to question what is real and what is manufactured, underlining the movie's exploration of technology blurring the line between man and machine. The film also cleverly nods to its predecessor, the original Terminator, with small callbacks that enrich the continuity without distracting new viewers. For example, the T-800's iconic phrase, "I'll be back," returns with a new twist that gains fresh meaning in this context, signaling a shift from menace to protector. There are also visual homages to key moments from the first film, such as the imagery of Sarah Connor preparing for battle, which mirrors her earlier transformation but now carries the weight of experience and urgency. Cultural references subtly pepper the dialogue and setting, grounding the futuristic story in a recognizable world. John Connor's love for skateboarding and rebellious attitude capture early 90s youth culture, contrasting sharply with the high-tech threats looming over him. His casual use of technology and slang juxtaposes innocence with the heavy responsibility he carries. Additionally, the music choices, like the song You Could Be Mine by Guns N' Roses during the opening credits, not only set the tone but also reflect the film's blend of raw energy and impending danger. Foreshadowing is masterfully woven into the narrative, often through dialogue or seemingly minor details that later gain enormous significance. Early conversations about fate and choice hint at the film's central question: can the future be changed, or is it fixed? The repeated emphasis on "no fate but what we make" is not just a catchphrase. It's a thematic undercurrent that shapes character decisions and the overall message. Small moments, like the T-800 learning human behavior from John, foreshadow the machine's eventual sacrifice, revealing a subtle arc that pays off emotionally in the climax. Beyond narrative and dialogue, the film's production design hides Easter eggs that sharp-eyed viewers can discover. For instance, the Cyberdyne Systems building where much of the plot's tension unfolds is filled with details referencing real-world technology companies and innovations, grounding the sci-fi elements in a believable reality. The lab's clutter of computers and microchips isn't random. It's carefully designed to reflect the cutting-edge technology of the era and to hint at the dangerous potential of unregulated innovation. Even the Terminators themselves carry symbolic weight beyond their roles in the story. The T-800's bulky, mechanical design contrasts with the sleek, fluid form of the T-1000, visually representing the clash between old and new technology. This contrast is more than aesthetic. It underscores the escalating stakes of the conflict and the evolution of threats humanity faces. The T-1000's liquid metal nature, with its shape-shifting abilities, can be seen as a metaphor for the adaptability and unpredictability of future technology, while the T-800 represents the brute force and reliability of earlier machines. The filmmakers also embed subtle commentary on humanity's relationship with technology. Scenes where characters interact with machines, weapons, and computers often carry an undercurrent of caution or ambivalence. For example, the emotional bond that develops between John and the T-800 invites viewers to reflect on what defines personhood and consciousness. The Terminator's gradual acquisition of human traits and emotions raises questions about the boundaries between human and artificial intelligence, a debate that remains highly relevant today. Some Easter eggs are hidden in the film's visual effects and stunt work. The groundbreaking CGI used to create the T-1000's morphing abilities was revolutionary, but beyond the spectacle, certain transformations serve as nods to classic sci-fi tropes and previous films. The liquid metal's ability to mimic objects and people recalls earlier stories about shapeshifters and polymorphs, linking Terminator 2 to a broader tradition of science fiction. Even the practical effects, like the detailed makeup and animatronics used on the T-800, include small touches that fans can appreciate, such as scars or mechanical components that hint at the character's durability and past battles. Attention to detail extends to the film's dialogue, where writers slipped in subtle humor and irony that deepen character development. For example, John teaching the Terminator to smile is more than a quirky moment. It symbolizes the machine's gradual connection to humanity. These moments balance the film's darker themes with warmth, making the story feel more rounded and relatable. The film's ending, often seen as a powerful emotional and thematic resolution, also contains hidden layers. The decision to destroy the T-800 after all it has done is bittersweet, reinforcing the idea that some sacrifices are necessary for a better future. This choice reflects a complex understanding of technology, not as a simple enemy or ally but as something that must be carefully managed and, at times, relinquished for the greater good. Even small background elements contribute to the film's rich texture. For example, the brief glimpses of TV news reports, newspapers, and advertisements in the background are carefully crafted to reflect a world unaware of the looming threat. These details subtly build tension, showing how life carries on amid the undercurrent of impending disaster. Terminator 2 also includes nods to broader cultural fears and hopes of the early 90s, such as concerns about nuclear war, the rise of computing power, and the ethical dilemmas of artificial intelligence. These real-world anxieties are woven into the narrative, making the story resonate on a deeper level. The film doesn't just entertain, it invites viewers to confront these issues through the lens of action and drama. Ultimately, the hidden details and Easter eggs in Terminator 2 Judgment Day create a richer, more immersive experience. They reward attentive viewers with insights that deepen understanding and appreciation of the film's themes, characters, and craftsmanship. By embedding these elements naturally within the story, the filmmakers crafted a movie that remains fresh and intriguing even after multiple viewings, proving why it has endured as a classic in the sci-fi genre. Terminator 2 Judgment Day stands as one of the most groundbreaking and beloved films of the early 90s. But behind its polished surface lies a fascinating story of challenges, innovation, and unexpected moments that shaped the final masterpiece. The journey from script to screen was anything but smooth, and the tales from the set reveal just how much creativity, persistence, and sheer grit went into making this iconic film. One of the biggest hurdles came from the sheer scale of ambition in bringing the story to life. James Cameron returned to direct after the success of the original Terminator, determined to push the boundaries of visual effects and action filmmaking. At the time, CGI was still in its infancy, and creating the liquid metal T-1000 was a massive technical challenge. The team at Industrial Light and Magic had to invent new techniques to make the character's shape-shifting abilities look believable on screen. This meant countless hours of experimentation with computer-generated imagery, blending it with practical effects and live-action footage. The T-1000's morphing scenes became a technical milestone, but achieving them wasn't easy. Rendering times were long, and each sequence required precise coordination between departments. Arnold Schwarzenegger's return as the T-800 wasn't just about reprising a role. It involved a unique physical transformation. To convincingly portray a machine sent to protect rather than destroy, Arnold had to dial back some of his bulk and add subtle layers of emotion to his performance. He famously trained extensively to achieve a more defined, almost sculpted look, which took months of intense workouts and strict dieting. Interestingly, Schwarzenegger's onset injury during filming forced adjustments to the shooting schedule and stunt choreography, showing how even physical challenges shaped the final product. Linda Hamilton's preparation for the role of Sarah Connor was equally intense and transformative. Determined to convey Sarah's evolution from vulnerable target to fierce warrior, she underwent military-style training, learning weapons handling, hand-to-hand combat, and tactical maneuvers. Hamilton also worked closely with a personal trainer to develop the muscular, athletic physique that helped redefine female action heroes. Her dedication extended beyond physicality. She delved into the psychological impact of her character's trauma, bringing a nuanced performance that balanced toughness with emotional depth. The intensity of this transformation reportedly took a toll on Hamilton, both physically and mentally, underscoring the commitment behind the character's authenticity. Edward Furlong, who played John Connor, was cast after a nationwide search for the perfect young actor. His natural charisma and ability to blend rebellious youth with vulnerability made him stand out. However, working with a young actor on such a demanding set presented challenges, especially with long hours and complex scenes involving special effects. The production team took care to support Furlong, balancing his performance demands with his well-being, which helped him deliver a memorable portrayal of John's coming of age. The film's stunt work was another arena where ambition met adversity. The freeway chase sequence remains one of the most thrilling in cinema history, involving real vehicles, dangerous maneuvers, and precise timing. Coordinating dozens of stunt drivers, camera crews, and pyrotechnics required meticulous planning. At one point, a stunt involving a helicopter and a truck was so risky that it caused tension among the crew about safety protocols. Despite this, the sequence was completed successfully and became a benchmark for action scenes. The filmmaker's insistence on practical stunts, rather than relying solely on effects, gave the film a visceral realism that still holds up. An unexpected and somewhat controversial aspect emerged with the depiction of violence. Terminator 2 pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable in a PG-13 rating, featuring intense action and graphic moments that surprised some audiences. The film walked a fine line, balancing thrilling sequences with the emotional core to avoid alienating viewers. This sparked conversations about violence in media and the responsibilities of filmmakers, which contributed to evolving standards in film ratings. The filmmakers were aware of this tension but chose to prioritize storytelling impact, believing the violence served the narrative rather than existing for shock value. Behind the scenes, the cast and crew shared a collaborative and sometimes intense environment. James Cameron's reputation as a perfectionist was well-earned. He pushed everyone to deliver their best, often demanding multiple takes to capture just the right moment. This could be exhausting but also brought out standout performances. Stories from the set recount Cameron's hands-on involvement in everything from stunts to special effects, showing his deep passion for the project. His ability to blend technical innovation with emotional storytelling is a hallmark that made Terminator 2 so successful. Another intriguing behind-the-scenes fact involves the design of the T-1000. The sleek, metallic look was inspired by the desire to create a villain who was visually distinct from the bulky T-800. The costume and makeup teams worked extensively to achieve a reflective, almost liquid metal surface that could catch the light in dynamic ways. Robert Patrick, who played the T-1000, embraced the cold, emotionless nature of the character, developing a unique physicality, smooth, precise movements that contrasted with the more rigid T-800. Patrick also underwent rigorous training to pull off the demanding stunt work required by the shape-shifting villain, showing how the actor's physical commitment matched the character's uncanny abilities. Interestingly, the film's screenplay went through multiple drafts, with significant changes to character arcs and plot details. Early versions explored darker themes and alternate endings, some of which were deemed too bleak for the final cut. For example, there were discussions about keeping the T-800 alive or having Sarah Connor perish, which would have shifted the story's tone dramatically. The final script balanced hope and sacrifice, offering a resolution that felt earned and emotionally satisfying. The production also faced logistical challenges related to filming locations. Many scenes were shot in Los Angeles and surrounding areas, including the steel mill used for the climactic showdown. Coordinating large-scale shoots in industrial environments posed safety concerns and required close cooperation with local authorities. The mill's harsh, smoky atmosphere added authenticity but also made shooting difficult, especially with practical effects like fire and molten metal. The commitment to practical locations rather than soundstage sets contributed to the film's gritty, immersive feel. One lesser-known fact is the level of secrecy maintained during production to prevent leaks. Given the massive anticipation following the original Terminator, the studio and crew were tight-lipped about plot details and special effects innovations. This secrecy extended to protecting key props and costumes, with some being transported under heavy guard. The strategy paid off, as the film's surprises, particularly the T-1000's abilities, stunned audiences and critics alike upon release. Franchise demonstrating how sound design is integral to storytelling. The score's mix of synthetic and organic sounds echoes the film's exploration of humanity intersecting with technology. Looking at the broader impact, Terminator 2's success helped cement the careers of everyone involved and influenced countless films that followed. Its pioneering visual effects set new standards, and its blend of thrilling action with emotional depth inspired filmmakers to aim higher. However, this influence also brought challenges. The film's high budget and groundbreaking effects raised expectations that weren't easily matched by other productions. Some critics later debated whether the film's sequels captured the original spirit, highlighting the delicate balance between innovation and storytelling that Terminator 2 managed so well. Behind the scenes, the camaraderie among cast and crew often softened the intense pressure of production. Anecdotes tell of Arnold Schwarzenegger's good humor and leadership on set, helping maintain morale during long, physically demanding shoots. Linda Hamilton and Edward Furlong reportedly developed a strong rapport, contributing to the believable mother-son relationship on screen. These off-screen connections added authenticity to their performances, showing how human relationships fueled the film's emotional resonance. In some cases, practical effects had unexpected outcomes that required creative solutions. For instance, the famous scene where the T-1000 walks through a security checkpoint and reforms on the other side involved complicated makeup and special effects work. The initial attempts didn't fully capture the liquid metal transformation, prompting last-minute adjustments that became iconic moments in the film. These behind-the-scenes improvisations highlight the blend of planning and adaptability essential to filmmaking. Terminator 2 also pushed technological boundaries in ways that shaped the industry. Its use of motion capture and digital compositing influenced the development of visual effects in subsequent decades. The film's legacy in special effects technology can be seen in everything from superhero blockbusters to science fiction epics, marking it as a turning point in cinematic history. Finally, the film's enduring popularity is partly due to its ability to balance spectacle with heart. The behind-the-scenes dedication to character development, emotional storytelling, and innovative effects created a timeless classic. These production stories reveal the layers of effort and passion that brought Terminator 2 to life, reminding us that even the most thrilling movies are crafted through human creativity, challenges overcome, and unexpected moments that become legend. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is filled with moments that resonate far beyond their immediate action or spectacle. These key scenes shape not only the film's narrative but also its emotional and thematic core, leaving lasting impressions on audiences and critics alike. What makes these moments special is how they blend intense action with deep human emotion and philosophical questions, creating a cinematic experience that is as thought-provoking as it is thrilling. One of the most iconic scenes unfolds early on, when the T-800 arrives from the future and first meets John Connor. Unlike the relentless killer of the original film, this Terminator carries a new purpose: to protect. The tension here is palpable, but what makes it stand out is the subtle shift in the machine's character. John's wary but curious attitude contrasts with the Terminator's stoic determination, setting the stage for a unique bond that drives much of the story. The scene introduces the theme of trust, not just between humans but between man and machine, challenging viewers to reconsider what defines humanity. The moment when John teaches the Terminator to smile is deceptively simple but emotionally profound. This small gesture humanizes the machine in a way no amount of dialogue could. It symbolizes the beginning of the Terminator's journey toward understanding emotions and forming connections. Audience reactions to this scene often reveal a surprising warmth, as the cold, mechanical protector begins to show glimpses of vulnerability. The juxtaposition of a robot learning to mimic human expression deepens the film's exploration of identity and the possibility of change, even in something seemingly inhuman. Another standout sequence is the intense chase through the Los Angeles streets, culminating in the massive freeway pileup. Beyond its breathtaking stunt work and technical mastery, this scene encapsulates the relentless threat posed by the T-1000. The unstoppable nature of the liquid metal antagonist is conveyed through relentless pacing and sharp visuals, creating an overwhelming sense of danger. Yet within this chaos, the bond between John, Sarah, and the Terminator is reinforced, highlighting their shared fight for survival. The audience is swept into a pulse-pounding adrenaline rush, but also reminded of the human stakes beneath the mayhem. The steel mill climax is arguably the film's emotional and thematic peak. Here, action and symbolism converge powerfully. As Sarah, John, and the T-800 confront the T-1000 amid the molten metal, the battle transcends physical combat. It becomes a metaphor for sacrifice, hope, and the struggle against an inevitable future. The industrial setting, harsh and unforgiving, mirrors the stakes, humanity's survival hanging by a thread. The destruction of the T-1000 in the molten steel represents not only the defeat of a terrifying machine but the possibility of rewriting fate. The emotional weight is heightened when the Terminator, despite having fulfilled his mission, insists on self-destruction to prevent his technology from causing future harm. This ultimate sacrifice resonates deeply, reinforcing themes of responsibility and redemption. Sarah Connor's transformation throughout these key moments is another critical element. From a woman haunted by fear to a warrior willing to face impossible odds, her evolution is portrayed with raw intensity. Scenes showing her determination, such as her preparation for battle or her fierce defense of John, highlight the strength born of love and desperation. The emotional depth of these moments makes Sarah more than an action heroine. She becomes a symbol of resilience and maternal devotion. Audience reactions often reflect admiration for her complexity. Strong yet vulnerable, driven but deeply human. The film's exploration of fate versus free will is woven into many pivotal scenes, often through dialogue but also visually. Early discussions about the future being unwritten establish a philosophical tension that underpins the entire narrative. This theme culminates in the choice the characters make to destroy Cyberdyne's research, an act charged with hope and sacrifice. The audience is invited to ponder whether destiny can be changed, a question that adds layers of meaning to the intense action sequences. The dynamic between the T-800 and the T-1000 itself is a rich source of tension and symbolism. Their encounters are not just battles between machines but clashes of old versus new, brute force versus adaptability. Scenes depicting their confrontations are crafted to highlight these contrasts. The T-800's slow, methodical movements versus the T-1000's fluid, shape-shifting attacks. This visual storytelling enriches the film's themes about technological evolution and the dangers it may pose. Audience engagement peaks during these battles, with suspense heightened by the unpredictable nature of the T-1000. Moments of quiet reflection, like the scenes where John and the Terminator share conversations or the brief pauses amidst chaos, offer necessary emotional balance. These scenes allow viewers to connect with the characters on a personal level, making the stakes feel intimate rather than just plot-driven. The humor John injects into his interactions with the Terminator lightens the tone and adds layers of character development, making the machine's eventual sacrifice all the more poignant. Such moments showcase the film's skill in blending genres, combining sci-fi action with heartfelt drama. The film's use of practical effects and stunts enhances these key scenes' impact. The visceral reality of explosions, crashes, and fights grounds the story, making the danger tangible. When the T-800 endures damage or when the T-1000's liquid metal form contorts and reforms, the craftsmanship behind these effects adds a layer of awe. This technical mastery supports the narrative by immersing the audience fully, increasing emotional investment. The seamless integration of effects and story ensures these moments are not just visual spectacles, but integral to the film's emotional journey. Audience reactions over time reveal how these key moments contribute to Terminator 2's status as a classic. Viewers often recall the film's ability to balance heart-pounding thrills with genuine emotion, making the experience memorable and affecting. Critics have praised its innovative effects alongside its storytelling depth, noting how these scenes elevate the film beyond typical action fare. The emotional resonance of the Terminator's sacrifice, Sarah's fierce protection of her son, and John's growth are frequently highlighted as reasons the film remains relevant and powerful decades later. In the broader context of the film, these impactful scenes serve as emotional and thematic anchors. They shape the overall experience by creating peaks of tension and reflection, action and intimacy. Each key moment builds on the last, forming a narrative arc that feels complete and satisfying. The film's pacing, alternating between explosive set pieces and quieter character moments, ensures viewers are constantly engaged without fatigue. Ultimately, the strength of Terminator 2 Judgment Day lies in how its key moments do more than entertain. They provoke thought and empathy. The emotional depth of the characters' journeys, combined with the thematic richness of fate, sacrifice, and humanity versus technology, makes these scenes unforgettable. They invite audiences not just to watch but to feel, reflect, and connect, ensuring the film's enduring impact and place in cinematic history. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is a film that pulses with energy and emotion, its impact rooted in moments that resonate far beyond their immediate spectacle. The movie doesn't just offer thrilling action sequences. It delivers scenes that delve into profound themes of humanity, sacrifice, and destiny, creating a lasting impression that has shaped how audiences experience science fiction and action cinema. Right from the beginning, the arrival of the T-800 in the modern world introduces a scene brimming with tension and curiosity. Unlike the original Terminator, here the machine's mission is protection, a subtle yet crucial shift that redefines the nature of this character. This moment cracks open the idea that machines might possess qualities beyond cold calculation, setting up an unexpected emotional journey. The interaction between the stoic protector and the wary John Connor feels layered, sparking questions about trust and connection that ripple throughout the story. Audiences respond to this scene not just with excitement but with a dawning empathy for a character initially seen as an unfeeling machine. One of the film's quieter yet deeply significant moments is when John teaches the Terminator how to smile. This small gesture is packed with meaning. It humanizes the Terminator in a way that dialogue or dramatic confrontation cannot. The smile is a symbol of growth, showing the machine beginning to understand, or at least mimic, human emotion. For viewers, it's an unexpected moment of warmth amid the tension, inviting us to see the Terminator as more than just a weapon. This moment also underscores a central theme, the blurred lines between man and machine and the possibility that even something designed to kill can learn to protect and care. The chase sequences, especially the freeway scene, are landmarks of adrenaline-fueled filmmaking. What sets them apart is how they blend high-stakes action with storytelling that reinforces the relentless nature of the T-1000. The liquid metal antagonist is not just physically imposing. It represents a new kind of threat, unpredictable, adaptable, and almost unstoppable. The cinematography, pacing, and stunt coordination work in perfect harmony to convey this menace, while the human character's struggle to survive keeps the audience emotionally invested. The chaos of the freeway pileup is thrilling, but beneath the explosions and crashes is a story about desperation, survival, and the unyielding fight against annihilation. Viewers often recall these sequences as heart-pounding and edge-of-the-seat experiences that never lose their impact. The steel mill showdown stands as the emotional climax of the film. It's a masterclass in blending spectacle with deep meaning. The setting itself, harsh and industrial, echoes the brutal stakes at play, the survival of humanity against a cold, mechanized future. This scene is as much about the characters' internal battles as their physical confrontation. Sarah Connor's fierce determination, John's growth into courage and leadership, and the Terminator's protective resolve converge here, making every punch and every near-miss carry emotional weight. The destruction of the T-1000 in the molten metal is symbolic, representing the shattering of a seemingly inevitable future. What elevates this moment is the Terminator's own sacrifice, a final act of humanity that cements its role as protector, friend, and, in a way, a surrogate father. Audience reactions to this finale are powerful. Tears, cheers, and a deep sense of closure reflect the scene's layered emotional resonance. Sarah Connor's character arc is vital to these key moments. Her transformation from frightened survivor to relentless warrior is portrayed with intensity and authenticity that give the film its emotional backbone. Scenes where she prepares for battle or fiercely protects her son are more than action. They're expressions of love, fear, and hope. The audience connects with Sarah not just as an action figure but as a person grappling with trauma and the weight of the future. Her humanity grounds the story, making the high-tech threats feel immediate and personal. This depth invites viewers to invest emotionally, turning her triumphs and struggles into shared experiences. The theme of fate versus free will threads through many of these impactful scenes, enriching their meaning. Early discussions about the future being unwritten plant seeds of hope and tension, which grow as characters make difficult choices to change the course of history. This philosophical undercurrent transforms the film from a straightforward chase thriller into a meditation on destiny and responsibility. Scenes that highlight this tension, such as the decision to destroy Cyberdyne's research, challenge audiences to think beyond the action and consider the implications of human agency. It's a theme that elevates the film, giving weight to moments that might otherwise be pure spectacle. The battles between the T-800 and T-1000 are a showcase of contrasting styles and themes. These confrontations are more than physical fights. They symbolize the clash between different technologies and philosophies. The T-800's heavy, deliberate movements contrast sharply with the T-1000's fluid, almost alien transformations, visually reinforcing their opposing natures. These duels carry suspense not just through choreography, but through what they represent. A battle between past and future, stability and change. Audiences are drawn into the unpredictability of these encounters, knowing that any victory might be temporary. This tension keeps viewers engaged and adds a layer of complexity to the film's action. Moments of quiet interaction, such as John's playful banter with the Terminator or the occasional pause amid chaos, provide necessary emotional breathing space. These scenes deepen character relationships and offer insights into the machine's growing understanding of humanity. The humor John injects lightens the mood and makes the Terminator more relatable, which in turn makes the machine's eventual sacrifice even more affecting. Such contrasts between intensity and tenderness exemplify the film's skill at blending genres and emotions, enhancing the overall experience for audiences. The film's commitment to practical effects and realistic stunts amplifies the impact of its key moments. The visceral feel of crashes, explosions, and physical confrontations grounds the sci-fi elements, making the danger tangible. When the T-800 sustains damage or the T-1000's liquid metal shifts and reforms, the craftsmanship behind these effects inspires awe and supports the story's emotional stakes. This combination of technical mastery and narrative depth ensures that these scenes aren't just visual spectacles but integral components of the film's emotional journey. Over time, audience reactions have cemented these key scenes as iconic. The film's balance of thrilling action and genuine emotion resonates across generations, with many viewers citing the Terminator's sacrifice, Sarah's fierce maternal protection, and John's growth as reasons for the film's enduring appeal. Critics have praised these moments for elevating Terminator 2 beyond typical action fare, highlighting how emotional depth and thematic richness coexist with groundbreaking effects. This blend of elements contributes to the film's lasting reputation as a classic that continues to engage and move audiences. In the grand narrative of Terminator 2, these impactful scenes function as emotional anchors and thematic milestones. They build tension and provide relief, action, and introspection, weaving a rich tapestry that feels complete and satisfying. The film's pacing, alternating explosive sequences with quieter character-driven moments, maintains engagement while allowing the story's deeper meanings to emerge. Ultimately, Terminator 2's strength lies in its ability to craft moments that entertain and provoke thought. The emotional journeys of its characters, the exploration of fate and humanity, and the groundbreaking visuals all combine to create scenes that stay with viewers long after the credits roll. These key moments invite audiences to not only watch but feel, reflect, and connect, securing the film's place as a landmark achievement in cinematic history. Terminator 2: Judgment Day is much more than a high-octane action film. Beneath the adrenaline-pumping chases and groundbreaking effects lies a rich tapestry of themes and symbolism that invite deeper reflection. As the story unfolds, it weaves profound questions about humanity, technology, fate, and survival into its narrative, making the movie resonate on multiple levels. These elements aren't separate from the plot. They're embedded in the characters' journeys, their struggles, and the very fabric of the film's world, allowing viewers to experience the story not just as entertainment but as a reflection on bigger issues. At its core, Terminator 2 wrestles with the concept of fate versus free will. From the outset, the characters grapple with prophecies about Judgment Day, a future apocalypse caused by a self-aware artificial intelligence. This looming disaster feels inevitable, almost written in stone. But the film challenges that notion repeatedly. Through Sarah Connor's fierce determination and the actions of John and the T-800, it poses a hopeful idea that the future is not fixed and can be changed through conscious choices. This theme is woven into dialogue and character decisions but also mirrored visually, like in scenes where characters face crossroads or must act against seemingly predetermined outcomes. It taps into a universal human struggle, the desire to control our destiny despite forces beyond our control. Closely tied to this is the film's exploration of responsibility. Sarah Connor's character embodies this theme powerfully. Once a carefree woman, she transforms into a warrior consumed by the duty to protect her son and prevent humanity's destruction. Her journey reflects how knowledge of potential catastrophe forces a reckoning with moral obligations, what sacrifices are justified in the name of survival. This sense of responsibility extends beyond individuals to society as a whole. The film's portrayal of Cyberdyne Systems, a powerful tech corporation whose research triggers the rise of Skynet, serves as a warning about the consequences of unchecked technological ambition. It asks viewers to consider who holds responsibility when innovation spirals out of control. The relationship between humanity and technology stands as a central and complex theme. The Terminators themselves embody this tension. The T-800, originally a killing machine, becomes a protector, learning empathy and even humor, while the T-1000 represents a new, more terrifying evolution of cold, impersonal technology. Their conflict is more than physical, it's symbolic of the dual nature of progress. Technology can be a tool for protection and growth, but also a force for destruction and dehumanization. This duality resonates today, where advances in AI and robotics prompt similar hopes and fears. The film doesn't take a simplistic stance but instead invites viewers to reflect on the ethical dimensions of technological power. Symbolism permeates many aspects of the movie, often enriching scenes with layers of meaning. One clear example is the recurring motif of fire and molten metal, especially in the climax. Fire here symbolizes destruction but also purification and renewal. The steel mill, harsh and industrial, becomes a crucible where the characters confront not only their enemies but the possibility of change. The melting of the T-1000 in molten metal represents the breaking of an unstoppable force and the chance to rewrite the future. It's a vivid metaphor for sacrifice and transformation, reinforcing the film's message that endings can lead to new beginnings. Another symbolic element is the evolution of the Terminator's character, particularly its journey toward understanding human behavior. The smile John teaches it is a simple yet powerful image, symbolizing the machine's tentative grasp of emotion and connection. This gesture highlights the film's exploration of what it means to be human, whether it's biology, empathy, or the capacity for growth. The fact that a machine can learn these traits raises philosophical questions about identity and consciousness that linger after the film ends. Parenthood and protection also form key thematic threads. Sarah's fierce maternal instinct drives much of the narrative, emphasizing the human element at the heart of the sci-fi spectacle. Her determination to save John isn't just about one child but about safeguarding the future of humanity. John's own growth, from a rebellious kid to a young leader, mirrors the passing of responsibility from one generation to the next. This theme speaks to universal experiences of family, care, and legacy, grounding the futuristic story in real emotions that audiences can relate to deeply. The film's portrayal of violence and trauma adds emotional depth to these themes. Sarah's hardened demeanor reflects the psychological scars of her past experiences, reminding viewers that survival often comes at a great personal cost. Scenes where she confronts her fears or shows vulnerability reveal the human toll behind the action. This honesty about trauma enhances the film's realism and gives weight to its messages about resilience and hope. Terminator 2 also offers subtle social commentary on the dangers of corporate and military power. Cyberdyne's role in creating the technology that leads to disaster critiques the race for technological supremacy without ethical oversight. The film anticipates concerns about the military-industrial complex and the potential for technology to escape human control. In this way, it becomes a cautionary tale relevant beyond its narrative, reflecting anxieties of the late 20th century that continue today. The dynamic between man and machine in the film further explores themes of coexistence and understanding. The T-800's gradual integration into the human world, learning from John and Sarah, suggests a vision where technology and humanity might find balance rather than conflict. This hopeful note is a counterpoint to the destruction and chaos wrought by the T-1000 and Skynet. It encourages reflection on how technological progress can be guided by compassion and ethical awareness rather than fear and domination. Visual storytelling amplifies these themes throughout the movie. The contrast between the cold, metallic designs of the machines and the warm, often gritty settings inhabited by the humans creates a striking tension. Scenes of urban decay, industrial landscapes, and everyday life remind viewers of what's at stake: the survival of a world full of imperfection, emotion, and history. This juxtaposition underscores the film's meditation on the value of human life and the dangers of losing it to unchecked technology. At a broader cultural level, Terminator 2 taps into societal anxieties about the future, particularly the rapid advances in computers and AI during the late 1980s and early 1990s. The film mirrors fears of losing control over machines designed to serve us, echoing debates about automation, surveillance, and the ethics of artificial intelligence. These reflections give the story a timeless quality, making it relevant even decades after its release. Audiences today can still connect with its warnings and hopes, seeing echoes of current technological debates in its narrative. The theme of sacrifice runs through the film, culminating in the Terminator's self-destruction at the end. This act symbolizes more than the destruction of a machine. It represents the choice to prevent future harm, a conscious surrender for the greater good. It's a powerful conclusion to the machine's arc and a final statement on the value of life and the cost of protection. The emotional impact of this sacrifice is heightened by the relationships developed throughout the film, making it a moment of both loss and hope. Through its seamless integration of these themes and symbols, Terminator 2 offers more than thrills. It invites viewers to engage with fundamental questions about what it means to be human, how we relate to technology, and how our choices shape the future. The film's ability to weave these reflections into its storytelling is a key reason it remains compelling and thought-provoking. It doesn't separate action from philosophy. It fuses them, creating a narrative experience that resonates on multiple levels. In the end, Terminator 2 Judgment Day stands as a rich, layered work that balances spectacle with substance. Its themes of fate, responsibility, humanity, and technology are not just abstract ideas but living forces within the story, embodied in characters and events. The symbolism sprinkled throughout enriches the narrative, deepening its emotional and intellectual impact. And the film's reflections on societal and cultural issues ensure it speaks not only to its own time but to audiences across generations. This depth makes Terminator 2 not just a landmark in action cinema but a thoughtful meditation on the relationship between humans and their creations, the power of choice, and the enduring hope that even in the face of destruction, new beginnings are possible. Through its storytelling, it challenges viewers to consider their own roles in shaping the future, making it a film that stays with you long after the final frame fades. Terminator 2 Judgment Day isn't just a groundbreaking story. It's also a masterclass in cinematic technique and visual storytelling that elevates every moment. From the very first scene, the film grabs viewers not only through its narrative, but through how it looks, sounds, and moves, creating a fully immersive experience. Every visual choice, cut, and sound is carefully crafted to support the tension, emotion, and themes, making the movie's technical artistry inseparable from its storytelling. One of the most striking features of Terminator 2 is its visual style, shaped heavily by the work of cinematographer Adam Greenberg. The film balances a polished, almost clinical look in the scenes involving technology and machines with a grittier, more grounded aesthetic in human environments. This contrast visually reinforces the central conflict between cold, unfeeling machines and vulnerable humans fighting for survival. Scenes with the Terminators often use cool, blue-tinted lighting or harsh shadows to emphasize their mechanical nature, while moments focused on John and Sarah Connor often employ warmer tones or natural lighting, creating a sense of life and imperfection. The framing throughout the film is precise and purposeful. Close-ups capture subtle emotional shifts, like the Terminators developing awareness or Sarah's steely resolve, pulling viewers into intimate moments amid the chaos. Wide shots, meanwhile, establish the scale of the world and the destructive power of the machines, such as during the iconic freeway chase. The dynamic use of camera angles, low angles to amplify the T-1000's menace or high angles to show vulnerability, adds a visual language that communicates character states and mood without needing dialogue. Editing plays a vital role in maintaining the film's relentless pace while allowing emotional beats to land. The quick cuts during action sequences heighten suspense and adrenaline, especially in scenes like the helicopter rescue or the steel mill battle, where every second counts. Yet, the editors also know when to slow down, letting the camera linger on moments like John teaching the Terminator to smile or Sarah's quiet reflections, giving the audience time to connect emotionally. This rhythm ensures that the film never feels rushed or emotionally hollow, balancing spectacle with humanity. One of the defining innovations of Terminator 2 is its pioneering use of CGI to create the T-1000. The liquid metal effects were revolutionary for 1991, but what makes them so effective is how seamlessly they integrate with live-action footage and practical effects. The morphing sequences, where the T-1000 shifts shape or recovers from damage, are both mesmerizing and unsettling, visually communicating the character's almost supernatural threat. Director James Cameron and his team used CGI not just for wow factor but to serve the narrative, symbolizing the unstoppable and adaptive nature of this new kind of machine. The visual fluidity of the T-1000 contrasts sharply with the blocky, mechanical T-800, reinforcing their opposing qualities. Sound design also deeply enhances the movie's atmosphere and storytelling. The mechanical, almost otherworldly hums and clicks associated with the Terminators create an auditory signature that signals danger and presence. The metallic shifting sounds of the T-1000, in particular, are unique and memorable, emphasizing its liquid metal form in a way that feels tactile and real. These sounds do more than accompany visuals. They build tension and anticipation, alerting viewers to threats and changes even before characters react. The film's score, composed by Brad Fiedel, is another cornerstone of its immersive experience. The iconic, driving theme pulses with energy and urgency, threading through action scenes to heighten excitement and danger. Yet the score is also versatile, shifting to more subdued or emotional tones during quieter scenes to support character development and mood. This musical flexibility deepens the audience's connection to the story, making intense moments more thrilling and intimate ones more poignant. The recurring motifs in the score reinforce the film's themes of time, fate, and survival, subtly influencing how viewers perceive key scenes. Cameron's directorial vision is clear in how these elements come together. His style favors practical effects and stunts, which ground the science fiction elements in physical reality. The film's numerous explosions, car crashes, and fight sequences feel visceral because they rely on real-world physics and dangerous choreography. This commitment to realism in action contrasts with the futuristic elements, enhancing the sense that this world could be just around the corner. The film's pacing reflects Cameron's meticulous control over storytelling. He builds tension steadily, interspersing moments of calm with bursts of chaos. The early scenes set a slow burn as characters meet and conflicts simmer, then escalate through escalating confrontations, culminating in the steel mill showdown. This narrative arc is supported by editing that tightens with each act, ensuring viewers remain fully engaged without fatigue. Lighting choices further reinforce mood and theme. Scenes involving Sarah's captivity in the mental hospital use harsh, clinical lighting that creates a cold, oppressive atmosphere, emphasizing her isolation and mental state. In contrast, outdoor scenes where John and the Terminator bond often feature natural light, symbolizing hope and growth. At night, neon and streetlights create an urban noir feel during chase sequences, adding stylistic flair while highlighting the dangers lurking in the modern world. The use of practical effects, such as animatronics and makeup, adds texture to the film's visual storytelling. The detailed damage on the Terminator, from exposed metal skeletons to scorched flesh, tells a story of survival and persistence without words. These physical details make the machines feel tangible, blending the line between man and machine. The makeup effects on Sarah Connor, especially her transformation into a hardened fighter, visually track her internal change, signaling her evolution from victim to warrior. One subtle but effective technique is the film's use of reflective surfaces and mirrors. The T-1000's liquid metal form often plays with reflections, symbolizing its shape-shifting nature and the theme of identity. Scenes where the character's image warps or splits in glass underscore its otherworldly threat and the fragility of human perception. This visual motif supports the film's exploration of what is real versus artificial and the instability of identity in a technological age. Sound editing also creates an immersive environment that grounds futuristic elements in familiar reality. Ambient noises, traffic, industrial hums, footsteps, anchor the story's sci-fi premise in the everyday world, making the threat of machines feel immediate and plausible. This blend of familiar and unfamiliar sounds draws viewers deeper into the film's world, heightening suspense and emotional engagement. Another key stylistic choice is the contrast in costume and production design between the characters. The Terminator's simple, iconic leather jacket and sunglasses have become emblematic of the character's machine identity, fused with a human facade. Sarah's evolving wardrobe, from soft fabrics to tactical gear, mirrors her transformation. John's casual, rebellious clothes emphasize his youth and the innocence at stake. These visual cues subtly communicate character arcs and themes without explicit explanation. Camera movement throughout the film serves narrative and emotional purposes. Action scenes employ dynamic, handheld shots and sweeping crane movements to convey chaos and scale, pulling viewers into the intensity. Conversely, steadier, slower shots during character moments provide stability and focus, allowing emotions to settle and resonate. This variation in movement creates a rhythm that guides the audience's emotional journey alongside the plot. The film also uses visual foreshadowing expertly. For example, early glimpses of the damaged T-800 skeleton buried underground hint at the ongoing battle between man and machine beyond the current timeline, creating narrative tension. The recurring motif of broken glass and destruction foreshadows the inevitable chaos and upheaval to come. These visual cues prepare audiences subconsciously for the story's escalation, enhancing suspense. James Cameron's ability to blend genres, action, sci-fi, thriller, and drama, is supported by his command of cinematic techniques. The visual and auditory elements adapt fluidly, shifting from heart-pounding chase scenes to intimate emotional moments without jarring the viewer. This seamless integration helps Terminator 2 transcend its genre, appealing to a broad audience while maintaining narrative cohesion. Lighting and color grading also contribute to the film's emotional resonance. The colder color palette in scenes involving the machines reflects the impersonal, threatening nature of technology, while warmer, earthier tones in human-focused scenes evoke empathy and life. The interplay of light and shadow is used not only for mood but symbolically, hinting at the duality of characters and the struggle between hope and despair. The soundscape's layering, combining dialogue, sound effects, and score, creates a rich sensory experience. Moments of silence or minimal sound are used effectively, amplifying tension or highlighting emotional beats. For instance, the quiet before a major confrontation lets viewers anticipate and feel the stakes, while louder sequences overwhelm the senses, mirroring the chaos on screen. In sum, Terminator 2 Judgment Day's cinematic techniques are inseparable from its storytelling. The visual style, editing, sound design, and music work together to create a compelling world that feels real, urgent, and emotionally engaging. James Cameron's vision is clear in the careful balance between spectacle and intimacy, technology and humanity, chaos and control. Each frame, sound, and cut serves the narrative, making the film not just a landmark in special effects but a richly layered cinematic experience that continues to captivate and inspire audiences worldwide. Terminator 2 Judgment Day isn't just remembered for its groundbreaking effects or thrilling action, but also for the remarkable chemistry between its cast, the vibrant dynamics on set, and the powerful connection it forged with audiences worldwide. The interplay between actors, their off-screen relationships, and the atmosphere during filming all shaped performances that still resonate decades later. This organic synergy elevated the story, making the characters' bonds feel genuine and deeply affecting, which helped anchor the film's incredible spectacle in authentic emotion. At the heart of this chemistry is the relationship between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Edward Furlong, who play the Terminator and John Connor, respectively. Their on-screen bond is surprisingly tender given the Terminator's mechanical origins, and that's largely because of the rapport they built off-camera. Arnold, already a seasoned action star, took on a mentor-like role for young Edward, guiding him through the complexities of the part and the demanding shoot. Their interactions during breaks often involved playful teasing and encouragement, which translated into the subtle warmth and humor their characters develop in the story. The smile scene, for example, isn't just a scripted moment. It was inspired by real laughter and trust that grew between the two actors, making the Terminator's first human-like smile feel authentic and touching. This connection helped the audience accept the machine's transformation from cold killer to protector, making the emotional stakes more real. Linda Hamilton's performance as Sarah Connor adds a fierce intensity that perfectly balances the film's emotional core. Her commitment to embodying a woman transformed by trauma and responsibility was so deep that it influenced everyone on set. Linda reportedly immersed herself physically and mentally, training rigorously to portray Sarah's warrior evolution. Off-screen, her interactions with the cast reflected this focus. She was often serious and intense, but also deeply caring. This dedication rubbed off on her co-stars, creating an environment where the stakes felt real for everyone involved. Arnold has spoken about how Linda's fierce presence pushed him to dig deeper into his own performance, especially in scenes where their characters face overwhelming danger. This dynamic elevated their scenes together, infusing them with palpable tension and urgency. Robert Patrick, who played the T-1000, brought a different energy to the cast, but was no less important to the set dynamics. Known for his calm, methodical approach, he contrasted with Arnold's charismatic bombast and Linda's intensity. His cool professionalism and commitment to portraying a relentless, nearly unstoppable force made the T-1000's menace feel credible. Off-camera, Robert was reportedly friendly and approachable, creating a relaxed atmosphere that balanced the film's high tension. His disciplined work ethic impressed the crew and helped set a tone of precision for the complex scenes involving his character's liquid metal effects. The subtle rivalry and tension between his character and the Terminator were mirrored in the actors' mutual respect, which added depth to their on-screen confrontations. The younger cast members also contributed to the film's dynamic energy. Edward Furlong was relatively new to acting but brought a natural charisma and rebellious spirit to John Connor. His interactions with Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger reflected the genuine awkwardness and hopefulness of a young boy caught in extraordinary circumstances. The camaraderie on set helped bring out spontaneous moments that enriched the script, allowing for character moments that felt lived in rather than scripted. The chemistry between Edward and the adults around him gave the film a heart, grounding its sci-fi elements in real human relationships. Behind the scenes, the set was a mix of intense focus and lighter moments that forged strong bonds. James Cameron's demanding directing style pushed the cast and crew hard, often requiring long hours and multiple takes, especially during complex action sequences. However, this intensity was balanced by moments of levity and teamwork. For example, during the famous freeway chase scene, the cast and stunt teams worked closely, rehearsing meticulously to ensure both safety and realism. Arnold Schwarzenegger's off-screen leadership was crucial in maintaining morale, often using humor to diffuse tension after grueling days. Linda Hamilton's commitment inspired others to push their limits, fostering a collective drive to make the film exceptional. The innovative special effects also shaped the atmosphere on set. Many scenes involved cutting-edge technology for the time, such as CGI for the T-1000 and elaborate practical effects. Watching these effects come to life created a sense of wonder and excitement among the cast, who often had to imagine elements that wouldn't appear until post-production. This challenge led to creative collaboration, with actors relying on each other and the director's guidance to maintain immersion. Robert Patrick, in particular, had to perform stunts and movements that anticipated the liquid metal effects, which demanded trust between him, the effects team, and his co-stars to ensure the scenes worked believably. Once Terminator 2 was released on July 3, 1991, the chemistry and effort poured into the film paid off spectacularly. Audiences were immediately captivated not only by the thrilling action but by the depth of the characters and their relationships. The dynamic between the Terminator and John Connor became iconic, influencing countless films and shows that followed. Critics praised the performances, especially noting Linda Hamilton's. Terminator 2: Judgment Day stands as one of the most influential films in the history of science fiction and action cinema, a landmark that reshaped expectations for what a blockbuster could achieve both technically and emotionally. Its legacy extends far beyond its original 1991 release, continuing to echo in the way filmmakers approach storytelling, visual effects, and character development even decades later. This film didn't just raise the bar. It redefined the playing field entirely, making it a cultural touchstone whose impact remains deeply felt. One of the most immediate and visible ways Terminator 2 changed the landscape was through its pioneering use of computer-generated imagery. The T-1000's liquid metal effects were nothing short of revolutionary at the time, setting a new standard for what was possible in visual effects. This wasn't just about flashy spectacle. The technology was used to enhance storytelling, creating a villain that was both terrifying and mesmerizing. Its success opened the door for a wave of CGI-driven filmmaking, influencing everything from subsequent science fiction epics to the broader action genre. Studios and directors saw the potential for digital effects to create more immersive and dynamic worlds, a shift that has only accelerated with advances in technology. Today's CGI-heavy blockbusters owe a significant debt to the groundbreaking work first showcased here. Beyond technical innovation, Terminator 2's influence is deeply embedded in its genre's narrative and character arcs. It took the archetypal revenge-driven, unstoppable killing machine from the original film and transformed it into a protector, a character capable of growth and learning. This shift introduced a new depth to sci-fi and action heroes, blending cold machine logic with human empathy. This narrative evolution inspired countless films and series that explore the intersection of humanity and technology with more nuance and complexity. The idea of a machine developing conscience or forming genuine bonds with humans, now common in many stories, was popularized and legitimized by this film. The performances and characterizations also pushed genre storytelling beyond its previous limits. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator became a symbol of strength paired with unexpected vulnerability, while Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor redefined female action heroes. Her transformation into a fierce, determined warrior challenged stereotypes and opened doors for stronger, more complex female leads in action films. The film's balance of intense action and emotional storytelling demonstrated that genre films could be both thrilling and deeply human. This duality influenced filmmakers aiming to create blockbusters with heart, changing how characters were written and portrayed in high-stakes settings. Critically, Terminator 2 was widely celebrated, earning multiple Academy Award nominations and winning for Best Visual Effects and Best Sound Editing. These honors recognized not only the technical achievements but also the film's broader artistic impact. The accolades cemented its status as a serious cinematic achievement rather than just a commercial success. The film's triumph at awards shows helped legitimize science fiction and action films within the industry, encouraging more ambitious projects in these genres. Culturally, the film's reach extended into everyday life and language. Phrases like, "I'll be back," and the image of the Terminator with sunglasses and a leather jacket have become instantly recognizable icons worldwide. The T-1000's liquid metal effects became a symbol of cutting-edge technology in popular imagination, inspiring not just filmmakers but also artists, designers, and technologists. Merchandise, video games, comic books, and sequels expanded the film's universe, turning it into a multimedia phenomenon that kept the story alive in new forms and introduced it to successive generations. Its influence also sparked ongoing conversations about the relationship between humans and technology, artificial intelligence, and the potential dangers of unchecked technological advancement. In an era where these topics have become increasingly relevant, Terminator 2's themes resonate with renewed urgency. The film's exploration of fate, free will, and the consequences of human innovation invites viewers to reflect on real-world challenges, ensuring its messages remain powerful and timely. Over time, the film's significance has only grown, with retrospectives, documentaries, and fan events celebrating its enduring appeal. New audiences continue to discover it, drawn by its thrilling story, groundbreaking effects, and memorable characters. It serves as a benchmark for filmmakers and a source of inspiration for storytellers who seek to blend spectacle with meaning. In essence, Terminator 2: Judgment Day is more than a film. It's a cultural milestone that reshaped cinematic possibilities and narrative expectations. Its blend of innovative technology, complex characters, and resonant themes forged a legacy that continues to influence and inspire. It stands as a testament to the power of filmmaking to push boundaries and connect with audiences on multiple levels, securing its place as a timeless masterpiece that transcends generations. Terminator 2: Judgment Day remains a towering achievement in cinema, a film that blends heart-pounding action with profound emotional depth and groundbreaking technical innovation. From the moment it hit theaters on July 3, 1991, it captured the imagination of audiences around the world, transforming the sci-fi and action genres forever. What makes this film truly stand out isn't just its spectacular visual effects or thrilling set pieces. It's the rich, layered storytelling that gives its characters complexity and soul. It's the seamless fusion of spectacle and substance that keeps viewers engaged decades later. At its core, Terminator 2 tells a story about survival, transformation, and the possibility of change, even in the face of seemingly inevitable fate. The film's characters, especially the Terminator, John Connor, and Sarah Connor, each undergo profound journeys that challenge the traditional roles we expect from action heroes and villains. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator evolves from a cold machine into a protector capable of learning empathy. Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor transforms from a vulnerable woman into a fierce warrior, embodying resilience and determination. Edward Furlong's John Connor grows into the leader he's destined to become, representing hope for humanity's future. These arcs create a narrative richness that elevates the film beyond a simple chase or battle story. The movie's visionary director, James Cameron, masterfully combines high-stakes drama with cutting-edge technology. The visual effects, particularly the revolutionary liquid metal T-1000, remain iconic examples of how technology can enhance storytelling when used thoughtfully. The kinetic energy of the chase sequences, the tension of the climactic battles, and the quiet, intimate moments between characters all work together to create a balanced cinematic experience. Every frame serves the story, making Terminator 2 not just a visual spectacle but a deeply immersive journey. Moreover, the film's influence extends far beyond its narrative and technical accomplishments. It reshaped the way filmmakers approach sci-fi and action, inspiring a generation to think bigger and dig deeper. It challenged the notion that blockbuster movies must sacrifice character and emotion for spectacle. The film's themes about technology, humanity, and fate continue to resonate, making it as relevant now as it was 3 decades ago. It's a movie that invites viewers not just to watch, but to reflect, question, and feel. The lasting impact of Terminator 2 is also evident in how it has embedded itself into popular culture. Lines of dialogue, images, and characters have become part of the collective consciousness, referenced and celebrated across media worldwide. The film's success at the box office and award ceremonies validated its artistic and commercial appeal, securing its place as a modern classic. Fans still return to it, finding new layers to appreciate with every viewing. Its ability to captivate new audiences and maintain a loyal following speaks to the timelessness of its story and craft. As we look back on Terminator 2 Judgment Day, it's clear that its greatness lies in the perfect storm of visionary direction, unforgettable performances, groundbreaking effects, and a story that strikes a universal chord. It's a film that entertains, inspires, and challenges, all at once. It's a reminder of what cinema can achieve when creativity, technology, and heart come together in harmony. If you love this breakdown, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of cinema. Let's keep exploring movies together. There's so much more to uncover, so many stories waiting to be told and rediscovered. Join me on this journey, and let's dive deep into the magic of film, one masterpiece at a time.